Hello traders, and welcome to another exciting edition of our weekly XAUUSD and GBPUSD trade analysis. Okay, so I'm excited to be here with you as we dive into the dynamic world of forex trading. So in today's video, we'll be dissecting the price action for XAUUSD and GBPUSD, identifying key and potential levels on the charts and discussing potential strategies for the week ahead.
Welcome back to another episode of our weekly forecast with Chinex FX. So today guys, right here on my screen is GBPUSD, and we'll be doing a top-down analysis on this pair GBPUSD so as to gain strategic insights on how we can make most profit from the market in the coming week. So guys, let's dive in. So right here on my screen is GBPUSD, as you can see on the daily time frame guys. So if you followed us for our last week forecast, you discovered that we were expecting price to break above this resistance zone right here. As you can see, this is a resistance zone that price has tested a few times. This was one of the times GBPUSD tested this resistance zone and also came here to test this zone right here. So we're expecting price to break out of this zone as it already did before right here. So as you can see, price broke out of the zone right here guys. So for GBPUSD, we'll still be expecting some movement to the upside. We're expecting price to come upward, to respect this resistance zone right here, or possibly break out of it, to the next resistance zone, which is just above. I'll just quickly zoom out so we can see a picture of that resistance zone right there guys. You can see that this is the resistance zone, which is very valid. So we're expecting price to continue upward to either retest this resistance zone or possibly break out of it to the next resistance zone, which is very valid right here guys. So on the flip side, just like we always do, if price decides to move downward, we'll be expecting price to break below this support zone right here, this marked out support zone, before there's any continuation to the downside to respect this support zone or possibly the one just below. So I'll draw that out. If price decides to break below this support zone right here, we'll be expecting price to move downward to respect this support zone or possibly break out that support zone to respect the next one just below. So guys, quickly we'll move over to the 4 hours time frame so we can also see some other zones that we need to also pay close attention to guys. Alright guys, so this is the 4 hours time frame for GBPUSD, as you can see on my screen. So if you look at my screen clearly, you see that the zones we marked out on the daily time frame are still very visible and even clearer on the 4 hours time frame guys. So right here we can see that there was a double bottom here before price decided to continue upward, and then this was a resistance zone. Price broke out of this resistance zone, came back to retest it before continuing upward guys. So for next week, we are expecting price to come down to retest this zone, thereby turning into a support before continuing upside to the resistance zone just above. But on the flip side, if price decides to break below this support right here guys, we'll be expecting some movement downward. We're expecting price to continue downward, to respect this support zone right here or possibly break out of it to the next support zone just below guys. So quickly we'll also move over to the 1 hour time frame so you can also see these zones we've marked out right here very clearly guys. Alright, so right here on the 1 hour time frame for GBPUSD, we can see that there are some zones that were not visible on the daily and the 4 hours time frame that are now very visible right here. So for next week guys, like I said, we're still expecting continuations to the upside, for GBPUSD. Remember, this was a resistance. Price came down, before continuing upward. So guys, we are still expecting some continuations to the upside. We're expecting price to come down at any point to retest this zone right here before continuing to the upside. On the 1 hour time frame, guys, if price decides to continue downward, we'll be expecting price to break below this support zone right here. We're expecting price to break below that support zone before continuing downward to the next support zone just below on the 1 hour time frame, guys. So generally on GBPUSD, guys, we still expect some upward movement from price. We're expecting price to give us a retest of this zone at any point in time before continuing upward, guys. But if price decides to break below this support zone right here, we'll be expecting price to continue downward on the 1 hour time frame to respect this support zone, or possibly break out of it to continue downward to the next support zone just below. So guys, quickly we'll also move over to XAUUSD so we can pick out some zones that we need to strategically position ourselves so as to make some profit for the coming week, guys. Welcome back. So right here on my screen is GBP. Alright guys, welcome back. So right here on my screen is XAUUSD gold on a daily time frame. Remember, we always do a top down analysis on each of the pairs. So guys, we'll be analyzing gold from the daily time frame to the 1 hour time frame so as to get missionary positions on where we can make gains for the coming week. So guys, if you followed us for our last week forecast, you will discover that we were expecting price to retest this support zone before breaking out of this resistance zone. This was a very valid resistance zone that we marked out, and as you can see, price did just as we expected by breaking out of this zone. So right here on the daily time frame, we are expecting more continuations to the upside. We expect more movement to the upside for price, but we also expect price to come down at any point in time to respect this resistance zone, since it has broken out of it right here before continuing upward. But on the flip side, if price decides to continue downward, we'll be expecting price to break below that support zone right here before continuing downward to the next support zone, which is just below, guys. So guys, quickly we'll move over to the 4 hours time frame so we can get clearer pictures of these zones and more other zones that will be visible on the 4 hours time frame, guys. So guys, this is the 4 hours time frame for XAUUSD. As you can see, the support and the resistance zones that we marked out are still very visible. This was the resistance zone of which price has been holding for a while. This is also a support zone that has been holding price for a while. So right here you can see that price respected this resistance zone 3 times before breaking out of it, 3 valid times, which was this and also this, before breaking out of it. So for the coming week, we will still expect some movement to the upside for price. So right here for XAUUSD on the 4 hours time frame, we still expect some movement to the upside, but at any point in time we are expecting price to come down to retest this resistance zone, thereby turning it into a support before continuing upside, guys. But on the flip side, if price decides to break below this support zone right here, we'll be expecting price to give us a confirmation, thereby giving us some movement to the downside to either respect this support zone or possibly break out of it to the next support zone just below, guys. So quickly we also move over to the 1 hour time frame to also gain great insights on the zones we need to be looking out for, guys. Alright guys, so this is the 1 hour time frame for XAUUSD, as you can see on my screen. So for this particular zone, we still expect price to continue to the upside. So right here we will be expecting price to continue upward right here, but at any point in time come down to retest this support, this very valid resistance zone, thereby turning it into a valid support zone before continuing upward. But on the flip side, if price decides to break below this support zone, we'll be expecting price to give us a confirmation before continuing to the downside, or possibly breaking out of this support zone to the next support zone just below. So guys, generally for XAUUSD, we still expect some continuations to the upside, by price giving us confirmations by retesting key resistance zone before continuing upward. But on the flip side, if price decides to break below those key support zones like this support zone we marked out on the 1 hour time frame, we'll be expecting price to give us confirmation by retesting them before continuing downward to the next support zone just below. So guys, thank you for joining us on this week's forecast. Looking forward to seeing you on the next forecast. Please do well to like and subscribe, and also turn on the notification to our YouTube channel so as to get notified on whenever we post our weekly forecast. Don't forget to join our Telegram channel. The link will be displayed on the description of the video below. We offer a lot of premium services of which I'm sure you would want to take interest in. So see you guys same time, same channel, GM guys.